Some destinies are sealed by pain. Clara stood abandoned at the altar, betrayal slicing through her heart like a cold blade. The lavish castle loomed behind her, its grandeur now turned to a prison. The walls that had echoed with laughter felt suffocating, heavy with silence and humiliation. The sweet scent of flowers had twisted sour in her nostrils, a mockery of her shattered dreams. She felt completely lost, drowning in despair. As her heart thudded against her ribcage, whispers of her fiancé's last words cut through her mind. Humiliating, heartbreaking. What had gone wrong? She had envisioned this day filled with love, only to be cast aside like a forgotten doll, collecting dust in the corner. Memories of promises crumbled to dust, leaving her feeling hollow and broken. Clara forced herself to walk, knee-deep in the echoing hallways of the castle. Each step felt like a strike of a sword against her fragile heart. Empty gazes followed her movements, phantoms of the past playing tricks on her mind. She was trapped in a labyrinth of her own making, twisted by the expectations she had clung to. It felt like a funeral, but it was her life being buried deep inside her chest, with no one to mourn it. Why did he leave? Was she not enough? Was she unlovable? Those questions clawed at her soul. And then, as if the world had shifted on its axis, a towering shadow emerged from the mist. A figure draped in authority and magnetic danger. He was a king, a being of power, exuding an aura that felt ancient and unyielding. His silver-streaked hair flowed around him like a lion's mane, wild and untamed. King Draven, the immortal Lycan ruler of the Northern Territories, stood before her. The air around him crackled, pulsating with energy that sent shivers down her spine. From his piercing lavender eyes, she felt an unsettling familiarity, as if he could see through the very essence of her being, a gaze that dissected her pieces from within. "From now on," he said, his voice deep, dark like thunder rolling in the distance, "you will live with me." Confusion coursed through her veins, racing alongside fear and anger. She blinked, stunned. "Live with you?" The words hung heavily in the air, an absurd question hanging like a pendulum. "Why would you want me?" "A sanctuary," he replied, taking a step closer. His presence was magnetic, yet towering. "You were abandoned, but in my castle, you will be safe from those who wish to harm you." The air crackled between them, vibrant and electric. Clara felt her heart flutter, part anxiety, part intrigue. Inside her, a battle began. Part of her wanted to refuse him, to reject any help that came from such a relentless king, but a deeper part craved an escape, a chance to start anew. Could she trust this immortal ruler? What would living with him truly mean? Her heart raced at the myriad of possibilities, most of them dancing just beyond her reach. With nowhere left to turn, she bit her bottom lip and made a fateful decision. She followed Draven into his world, hesitating at the edge of uncertainty, the stone castle towering before her, dark yet beautiful. Would this ancient fortress be her prison or her refuge? Just beyond those walls, the depths of power and mystery awaited her. Little did she know, the fragments of her previous life felt like broken glass, sharp against her heart as she stepped further into the unknown. Draven guided her through the sprawling halls, unveiling secrets of the castle that whispered untold stories. Would she find solace, purpose, and perhaps even a new love? Or would the ghosts of her past rise once again to haunt her? Clara had been searching for a place to heal, searching for a glimmer of acceptance after years marked by loss and heartache. Her past had shaped her, a mosaic of shattered dreams and unfulfilled promises that cut deep. At 26, she had wanted this day, the wedding day that should have been filled with love and hope. But instead, it became a bitter reminder of abandonment. She had been the ignored daughter of a once prominent merchant family, cherished only until the fortune fell like leaves in autumn. Once someone meant to be admired, Clara learned quickly how to hide her sorrow behind a facade of smiles. It was a skill, a means of survival in a world that thrived on appearances. Ever the optimist, she had believed that love could mend the wounds, fill the void left by the chaos of a broken family. But love had evaded her, slipping through her fingers like sand. That day, all her dreams had turned to ash. He had left her alone in that cathedral, a ghost in a wedding gown. She recalled every whispered promise, the sound of shattered glass in her chest, and the pop of a balloon once full of air, now static and cold. And now, she found herself within the brave new world of Castle Draven. The air here felt different. It hung thick with secrets, rich and pungent, making her uneasy yet oddly drawn to it. Each corridor she traversed unlocked echoes of the past. Laughter, cries of service, the brilliance of a bygone era. Draven's presence transcended the sticks and stones of the castle. He was a creature of untold ages and untamed strength. He had faced battles against rival clans, kingdoms that threatened his rule yet again. The loneliness clung to him like a shroud, suffocating beneath the weight of centuries of power. Clara could feel his burdens, feel the tension radiating from him during their quiet moments, a sense of being pursued that mirrored her own. "Tonight is different," he had said to her once, after she watched him train with his guards, muscles taut and glistening under candlelight. "Tonight, I seek more than just power. I seek a future." The word future echoed in her mind. Could she really envision a path forged with this ancient king? A future filled with challenges, certainly, but also the chance to stand as an equal partner, to share the weight of the crown. Clara felt a flicker spark inside her heart, a push away from despair toward strength. Then, darkness swept back as shadows of her past rose to greet her, memories weaving through her thoughts. Clara stood at the balcony one evening, the world stretching out before her, when a familiar urgency rippled through her chest. A figure appeared on the edge of the forest, merely a silhouette, but her heart sank. Those who had abandoned her were returning. Her past had found her once more. "Clara?" Draven's voice sliced through her turmoil, curiosity tinged with concern. "What troubles you?" He stepped closer, the warmth radiating from him wrapping around her, a protective shroud. But how could she unearth the torment she carried, the whispers of betrayal that had started this entire cycle of pain? Would he understand that the wedding she'd planned, the one that should have represented her freedom, had turned her into a pawn in someone else's game? "Nothing," she lied, the word bitter on her tongue, the ache in her heart reflected in his eyes. She could see the question lingering there, the worry, and still, she felt powerless. A day would come when she would have to face her past, confront the betrayal that had shaken her foundations. Draven sensed the conflict pressing against her, but remained steadfast. "You need not carry this burden alone," he whispered one evening, their voices low, intimate. The flickering candlelight danced around them like tiny flames of hope. "You have a new beginning here. Trust me. Trust." Words filled with weight. Could she truly trust him? Clara found herself teetering right at the edge, unsteady against the pull of hope and the fear of new heartache. But somehow, she needed to forge ahead. She would not let her past define her future. With each passing day, the attraction between them intensified, but shadows remained, lurking in the corners of her mind. The burden of her former life clung to her, feeding on her insecurities. So, Clara made a vow that day. She would stand by Draven, not just as a queen of his kingdom, but as an equal. The future she craved would be built on the ashes of betrayal, tempered by courage and resilience. She would not let her past dictate her joy. Together, they would face whatever darkness came creeping through the night, as the world outside held its breath, waiting for the inevitable clash of betrayals past. Clara turned back toward Draven, ready to carve out her new destiny. As she did, the castle around her felt less like a cage and more like a beginning. But would she find the strength to face the truth? Would the weight of her past find a voice? Or would love offer a way to work through it all? Days melted into weeks as Clara settled into the rhythm of life inside Castle Draven. Tension wove through the air like a thread of smoke, punctuated by moments of laughter that echoed in the stone corridors. Each day felt less like survival and more like growth, a gradual unfurling of her spirit. One crisp morning, as she tended to the vibrant flower beds, their colors reflected her feelings, vivid, alive, yet tinged with the uncertainty of her past. The garden, once a mere distraction, had become her sanctuary. Each bloom represented a chance to heal, a new chapter amidst the chaos that life had thrown at her. But beneath that serenity, an undercurrent of worry tinged her heart. Draven had become more preoccupied, his brow furrowed, thoughts heavy with impending threats. He was a king in more ways than one, facing the kind of strife that threatened to shatter kingdoms. Clara watched, concerned, as he paced the stone floors, navigating court politics and enemies that lurked in the shadows. "Clara," he said one afternoon, drawing her into the dim light of the library. His voice carried the weight of urgency. "I need you." "What is it?" she asked, brushing her hair back, sensing the storm brewing within him. "We're facing threats outside the castle, but also within our own walls. Rival factions have eyes on you because of our connection," he said, sharp and focused. Her heart raced. "Me? A target?" The words sent shivers down her spine. "Yes. To protect you, we need to strengthen our bond publicly," he continued, stepping closer. "You won't just be my queen, but my partner in ruling." The enormity of the moment enveloped her. "I will stand beside you, Draven, no longer just in name, but as an equal," she asserted, feeling a flicker of determination unfurl inside her. A smile broke through the tension on Draven's face. "I knew you'd understand. Together, we can confront whatever dangers lie ahead." His grasp felt steady, a promise beneath the looming uncertainty. But before they could dwell in the moment, a guard rushed in, breathless panic painting his features. "Your Majesty! A group approaches from the south. They claim to have come for Clara." Fear chilled her blood. Clara exchanged a quick glance with Draven. It was time to confront the past she thought she'd escaped. "Stay behind me," he commanded, stepping protectively in front of her. "No, I need to face them," Clara insisted. This isn't how her story would end, not shackled by old ghosts. "We can't let fear dictate our lives any longer." "Very well. Together," Draven replied, firm and resolved. Side by side, they moved toward the castle entrance, Clara's heart pounding with every step. The air felt heavy, charged with anticipation, and the echoes of her past threatening to consume her. Emerging from the forest were familiar faces, her former fiancé at the forefront, a twisted smile contorting his features. "Look who's graced us with her presence," he taunted, voice dripping with disdain. Clara clenched her fists, fighting back the swirling emotions inside. "What do you want?" "We've come to warn you, Clara," he began, his sneer a familiar fire that ignited old wounds. "You think you can hide from the truth? You can run, but your past will always find you." An ache formed in the pit of her stomach, but she refused to show it. "I am where I belong, here, with Draven." Draven stepped up, an unwavering shield beside her. "You should leave now. Clara is not yours to control." The crowd muttered, uncertainty rippling through their ranks. Clara felt the tension coiling around her, but she took a deep breath, steadying herself. "You thought I would let you control my choices? You were wrong." "Is that so?" he said with a laugh that sent chills down her spine. "We'll see how long this lasts. Kings may fall." With newfound determination, Clara took a step forward, her voice strong. "Then let them try. Draven and I are a united front. I will not be defined by my past." The charged silence hung in the air, a standstill. Clara's heart raced, echoing the growing strength in her chest. Slowly, the rivals began to retreat, the spark of fear more potent than their bravado. As she and Draven turned, the heaviness on Clara's shoulders felt lighter, a realization dawning. She was no longer a victim. Back in the castle, she felt a change within herself, a new resolve settling in. This confrontation was merely the first battle in a war she and Draven would fight together. "Together, we will take on whatever darkness lurks ahead," she murmured, looking up at him with fire in her eyes. "Yes," Draven replied, squeezing her hand. "Step by step, we will forge a future free from the past." But challenges loomed. Would their bond hold against the storms ahead? The echoes of betrayal and doubt lurked, whispering warnings. Little did they know that this was only the beginning of their journey. The true test awaited just beyond the horizon, as shadows of the past threatened to extinguish the light they had fought so hard to reclaim. Days turned to weeks, and the castle settled into a fragile rhythm. Clara spent her mornings in the garden, tending to the blossoms and soaking in sunshine, while Draven navigated the treacherous waters of politics and lingering threats. The tension between her past and present hung thick in the air, but she clung to hope, every flower she nurtured symbolizing her resolve to bloom even amidst adversity. One evening, as the sun dipped low on the horizon, the golden light bathed the castle in warmth. Clara sat on a stone bench, her thoughts swirling like leaves in the wind. She felt a quiet determination to be more than just a queen, to prove herself as a partner to Draven. The growth of their connection fueled something deep within her, illuminating a path forward, yet shadows from her past still lingered, threatening to upend her progress. "I need you to trust me, Clara," Draven said, stepping into the garden, his voice steady but eyes flickering with concern. "Things are becoming more dangerous. My enemies are relentless, and there are whispers in the court about our bond. Trust." Those simple words hung in the space between them, heavy with meaning. "What do you want me to do?" she asked, heart racing. "You need to be more prominent at court," he stated, confidence threading through his tone. "We need to show our unity. We must face any challengers together." "Together," she echoed, feeling the weight of his gaze. "I accept." Draven stepped closer, his warmth wrapping around her like a blanket. "You're not just a queen. You're my mate, my equal. You need to believe that." Her breath hitched, skin tingling at his words. "Then let's show them. I'm ready." The hours turned into frantic preparation as they planned a banquet, a display of unity to silence their rivals and showcase their bond. Clara threw herself into the preparations, feeling excitement mingle with nerves as she envisioned the future. On the night of the banquet, the castle glow felt almost ethereal, delighted chatter filling the halls. Guests adorned in luxurious fabrics filled the dining room, laughter echoing through the grand space. Clara stood alongside Draven, hand intertwined with his, the warmth of their connection felt in every heartbeat. "Are you nervous?" he whispered, a teasing grin lighting his face. "Not at all," she replied, forcing a playful smile. But inside, the weight of her past loomed heavy. She felt the eyes of their guests on her, scrutinizing. "What if they doubt me?" "Then show them how strong you are," he encouraged. "When it's time, let your voice be heard." As the evening unfolded, Clara exchanged glances with Draven, their bodies moving gracefully in sync, blending their energies. Dark minstrels played soft tunes, carrying the rhythm of their connection. Each laugh, each shared smile was a declaration of their defiance against doubt and fear. When it came time for Draven to speak, the mood shifted. Anticipation crackled in the air like lightning. He raised his goblet, voice resonant and solid. "We stand here united, ready to forge our future, together." Applause erupted, faces alight with approval. Clara felt pride swell within her chest at his words, but also a tinge of trepidation as his next statement arose. "Clara embodies the strength that will lead our people alongside me." He gestured toward her. "I ask you to welcome her not just as a queen, but as your partner. Together, we will face the future unyielding." A cheer rose up from the crowd, building a rhythm she could nearly touch. It ignited something within Clara, a flame against the shadows of her prior life. It was time. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward. "I stand here, filled with gratitude and determination," she began, her voice ringing clear and true. "I am committed to this kingdom, our people, and to Draven. Together, we will combat any darkness that threatens our future." A wave of applause erupted. She didn't expect the roar of support that washed over her. The walls of fear she had built began to crack. They could see her, the woman beneath the title. She had harnessed the energy she had cultivated in the garden and transformed it into her voice. But the night was not free of tension. Across the hall, Clara noticed a familiar face, her former fiancé, lingering in the darkness. His cool gaze seemed to slice through the warmth surrounding the celebration. The ancient pang of betrayal welled up within her chest. "Draven," she whispered, stepping closer to him. "He's here." He turned slightly, muscles tensing. "Stay beside me. I won't let him approach you." The air teetered on the verge of chaos as he made his way toward them. Clara felt the weight of his presence pressing down on her. "Clara," he called, voice dripped with condescension. "This is quite a show you're putting on, isn't it?" Her breath caught in her throat. What do you want? To remind you of the life you've abandoned for this fantasy, he smirked, condescending. A pretty crown can't shield you from the truth. This king won't save you from your past. Yes, Draven interjected, fury simmering just beneath the surface. And you won't pour salt on her wounds. Clara felt the fire ignite within her once more. You don't get to define my worth any longer, she declared, stepping slightly in front of Draven, fierce and resolute. The tension grew, every gaze fixated on the encroaching confrontation. She was never meant to be here, he spat, attempting to provoke. Enough, Draven roared, stepping forward with power. Clara is my chosen mate. You will never dictate her life again. The momentum shifted. Clara could feel the tide of support thrumming around her. The cheers of their guests swelled into a wave of affirmation, a solidarity that bolstered her spirit, anchoring her against the looming storm. You're wrong, she breathed, voice unwavering. I am more than I was. I am on the threshold of a new life, and I won't look back. In that moment, Clara knew she wouldn't be defined by old wounds or hellish heartbreaks. She stood tall, emboldened by the resolve to face the legacy of her past and forge a path anew. Draven's hand gripped hers tight, their connection electric and alive. Together, they turned from the gathering with purpose, ready to embrace whatever brutal winds awaited them. But the battle was far from over. They had faced the first storm, yet the coming days promised even greater challenges. Could their bond sustain them through the threats ahead? Would the strength they had built stand tall against the shadows still whispering behind them? Why had she felt his gaze linger? Clara would have to confront those lingering echoes. There was no turning back now. The days following the banquet were charged with anticipation, a brewing storm about to break. Clara felt the weight of expectations pressing down on her as she stepped into her new role, an equal partner to Draven. They spent hours mapping out strategies to safeguard their realm, strategies grounded in her newfound strength and his unwavering resolve. But shadows lurked in the corners of the castle. Whispers grew louder, jealousy simmering among those who scoffed at their bond. Clara could feel the wary gazes of the court, their skepticism echoing in the silence that fell when she entered a room. She found solace in the garden where she'd first refashioned her hope. There, she meticulously tended to the vibrant blooms. Yet as petals unfurled, her thoughts tangled in her past, her former life filled with betrayal. With every pluck of a weed, she realized old fears were festering, despite the light around her. Clara? Draven's voice broke through her contemplation, rich and soothing. He approached, the late afternoon sun casting an amber glow on his features. She looked up, the tension in her chest easing as their eyes met. Yes? I've arranged a meeting with the council, he said, motioning for her to join him. We must address concerns regarding your place in the kingdom. Concerns? She echoed, a pang of nerves stirring within her. About my worth? Not worth. Unity. He shrugged, confidence radiating from him. You will help us strengthen our position. Clara straightened her spine, determination sparking within. Then let's do it. If they doubt me, let's show them they're wrong. As they stepped into the council chamber, tension gripped the air. The long table was surrounded by advisors and noble families, their faces a mix of incredulity and intrigue. Clara sensed their skepticism like a living thing, lurking in the corners of the room. Draven stood tall beside her, the confidence in his stance grounding her. He began to speak, his voice powerful, laying out the challenges they faced. Enemies on the horizon, plots of betrayal thickening. We stand stronger together. Clara will support our kingdom. She brings a unique perspective, one that we desperately need. The murmurs intensified, steel clashing against steel as opponents posed their questions. What makes her worthy? A servant doesn't become a queen. Clara felt the heat of their words, but she couldn't let the doubt seep into her heart. She stepped forward, every ounce of fear dispelled by the fire of her resolve. I may have been a servant, but I have endured. I've faced betrayal, and I've learned to rise. I stand beside Draven not just as a queen, but as a warrior, ready to defend this kingdom. Gasps filled the room, her directness breaking through the haze of doubt. This is not just about nobility. It's about conviction and strength. Together, we can fortify this realm. The council members shifted restlessly, curiosity sparking in some, yet skepticism remained in others. You may speak boldly now, but can you withstand an attack? One noble challenged. I already have, she replied, her voice steady, every syllable punctuated by her truth, and I will continue to do so. Our bond is built upon a promise to protect this kingdom. Draven's eyes glimmered with approval, a silent acknowledgement of her courage stoking the flames of pride within her. We'll be relentless against any threats to our home or each other. Our foes underestimate the strength of our unity. The murmurs subsided as Clara's words sank in. There were still many battles to be fought, but for the first time, she felt the solid foundation of support forming beneath her. The dark clouds of past betrayals began to part, revealing the brilliant light of their coalition. However, storms have a way of creeping in when you least expect them. As the meeting concluded, Clara and Draven stepped out to face new threats. "Clara, wait," Draven said suddenly, resting a hand on her shoulder. "There's something we need to discuss." Concern swept through her. "What is it?" He frowned. "There are reports of movements from our rivals. A coalition, a group seeking to topple my reign, and they see you as a target." Her stomach dropped. "Me? But why?" "They believe if they break our bond, they can weaken me." The tautness in his voice sent alarms ringing in her chest. "We cannot appear vulnerable. They'll come for you." Clara swallowed hard, her mind racing. "What do? We prepare. We strengthen our defenses and rally those who stand with us," he responded matter-of-factly, urgency in his tone. "And we inform the people. Your name must become synonymous with strength." "I won't back down," she declared fiercely, her heart pounding in her chest. "Let them come. We will show them we're not afraid." Draven smiled briefly, a fire igniting between them. "I will not let them harm you. We fight together. Always." But beneath the surface, unease churned like storm clouds gathering on the horizon. Would their bond truly weather the tumultuous storm ahead? The question echoed in her mind, chilling her spine. That night, Clara lay in bed, the silence of the castle heavy with anticipation. The weight of their decisions loomed larger than ever, and shadows of doubt clung to her. Would she be able to confront the darkness coming for them? Would their strength hold against the whispering echoes of betrayal? As she drifted into a fitful sleep, Clara realized something pivotal. This was no longer just Draven's fight or even her own. It was a battle for their realm, their future, and the very essence of who they had become. And above all, it was a fight for love. Would love be strong enough to shield them from the tempest brewing beyond their castle walls? Or would the tides of betrayal sweep back in, dragging them under? Answers lay just beyond the impending storm, waiting to emerge. The dawn broke pale and tense, a storm brewing on the horizon. Clara awoke, urgency coursing through her veins. Today was different. Today they would confront their enemies. She could feel the weight of expectation hanging in the air, thick and heavy like the clouds outside their castle. At breakfast, Draven's seriousness matched the storm clouds. "It's time to gather the council," he said, determination etched in his features. "We need to show our unity, and your voice must be heard." "I'm ready," Clara replied, steeling herself against the doubt that gnawed at her. She wouldn't let fear win. Not today. The council chamber buzzed with tension as they assembled. Clara sensed the mix of skepticism and curiosity in the air. This was her moment to prove herself, to show them she wouldn't back down. Draven stood at her side, confidence radiating from him like a shield. "We won't tolerate threats to our reign," Draven declared, his voice echoing in the hushed room. "Clara will be an integral part of our strategy. She embodies the strength this kingdom needs." Gasps of disbelief rippled through the members. Clara took a breath, stepping forward. "I am not afraid. I've fought through darkness and I stand ready to protect this kingdom." A noble scoffed. "But can a servant really lead?" "I have more experience in battle than most," Clara shot back, her heart pounding. "I will defend everything I hold dear. My home, my love, my people. Together, we are a united front." As she spoke, a change flickered in the air. Observing the mix of caution and newfound respect in their expressions, she felt hope igniting within. They could see her strength, her resolve. "Let's draw strength from our unity," Draven added, pride in his eyes. "Anyone who seeks to undermine us will face the full brunt of our power." The council murmured in agreement, the tide shifting. Clara felt the embers of support starting to build, fanning the flame of her determination. Together, they were beginning to weave a bond stronger than any doubt. Outside, the night deepened, and shadows coiled like snakes around the castle as Clara and Draven prepared for what lay ahead. Then came a commotion from the courtyard, a roar of voices rising against the stillness. "What now?" Clara whispered, her heart racing. "We need to act," Draven replied, urgency painting his expression. They stepped out, hands clasped tight as they faced the crowd gathering below. Before them stood a coalition of their rivals, faces twisted in grim determination. "Your reign is under threat, Draven," one called out, stepping forward with bravado. "Your queen is a liability, and we've come to deliver a message." "Speak plainly," Draven commanded, his voice steady. "The bond you cherish will be your downfall," the leader sneered. "Your enemies grow restless. Clara's past will catch up to her, and you will be weakened." Clara's pulse quickened, anger surging through her. "You think you can intimidate me with words? I've conquered more than you could ever imagine." Draven's presence radiated strength beside her as she moved closer to confront their rival. "We are not afraid of your threats. Our love and our unity will overcome whatever darkness you conjure." The opposition hesitated, uncertainty creeping onto their faces as the energy shifted. Clara could feel it, like an electric charge in the air. "You think your queen's strength will protect you?" The leader spat, but disbelief flickered in his gaze as he sensed the resolve emanating from Draven and Clara. "Yes," she affirmed, stepping closer. "I stand tall, not just as Draven's queen, but as a warrior ready to defend this kingdom. Together we will face you head-on. Let your threats fall upon us. We will not bend." A collective murmur rippled through the crowd, the strength of her declaration penetrating the doubt. Clara could see the hesitation in their eyes, and she seized the moment. "We invite you to challenge us," she continued. "Let our love be the light that guides this realm." Draven's arm tightened around her, and she could feel the confidence simmering in their united front. A promise they would stand firm together against whatever storms awaited. But just as hope began to blossom, a chilling laugh cut through the night. A shadowy figure emerged behind the coalition. "This is only the beginning," he taunted, darkness radiating from him. "We will test whether your bond is truly unbreakable." And with that, the air grew taut with tension, shadowy figures lurking behind their rivals, ready to pounce. Clara felt fear prickle along her spine, but she knew now that love had brought her strength, and with it, they could face whatever came next. Would their bond withstand this trial? Would they emerge victorious against the encroaching darkness? Answers hung in the balance as the storm finally broke free, and with it came the promise of both peril and resilience. Clara took Draven's hand tighter, ready to embrace the darkness as they ventured into the unknown together.